my disclaimer. Everything coming out of me is for entertainment purposes only. If you haven't noticed by now, my channel is talking shit. I think it's quite self-explanatory, right? Talking shit. There are plenty of relocation services and people, agencies out there selling you, you know, retire abroad, retire overseas. And I'm not one of those people. So that's my disclaimer. I'm not trying to sell anybody anything anymore. I used to be an adult entertainer. And now I'm just here, killing time, okay? With that said, somebody wants me to talk more about health. I cannot speak on this. I know it's an important issue. I know I need to fix my health. My advice or tips, if I was to give any, because we all have different life situations and circumstances. My best advice is to do your fucking research, do your due diligence, and have a backup plan, okay? Because worst case scenario is, you know, you come out here or you fly somewhere with a one-way ticket and for whatever reason it just doesn't work out, right? There's just too many factors. There's just too many moving parts. Anything, everything could go wrong, okay? But would you be able to live with yourself if you didn't try? I'm speaking from having traveled to many parts of Asia. I also worked, when I was in the Marine Corps, I worked in different places. So my entire time that I was in the Marines, I was basically stationed overseas. I only spent like a little bit of training in, well, Missouri, Fort Leonard Wood for MOS school and MCT right after boot camp. So boot camp, so that was it for females. We go to Parris Island, South Carolina. But after, you know, going to my platoon, I was basically overseas most of the time. Once I was put to work, I mean. So I was in, let's see, Okinawa, Japan. I was there for 2 years. Went to Marine Security Guard program. That was in different places. So I was in Venezuela, Colombia, Hong Kong, and Belgium. So literally all over the place. I've traveled to Europe. If I was to give anybody any kind of tips who has any sort of desire to get the fuck out of your expensive, you know, unaffordable place, I don't know where the fuck you're living. You could be in Australia, you could be in whatever first world country, and you're just desperate to get the fuck out. First of all, we're all stuck on this fucking planet. And I'm telling you that the only way is to just get abducted by aliens. Like, because I'm desperate to get the fuck out of here just as much as you are. The planet is the problem, okay? So let's just establish that. The planet, reptilians, Illuminati, Freemasons, etc. Okay? We're all slaves here. We just gotta fucking make it work. So that's why, sometimes you don't have the luxury of time or energy or resources, You just have to one shot, one kill, right? You can't make any mistakes. Mistakes cost money, right? They cost time, energy, money. So I'm just speaking from my own experience. Look, I know what the fuck I look like. I know what I need to do, but it's just like doing it and saying what I know I need to do are two different things. Okay. In terms of health, get your shit squared away before you make any drastic moves, right? So a lot of people are concerned or worried about the health care when it comes to moving abroad. Healthcare in America is outrageous. It's overpriced. It's a scam. Because if you think about it, the problem with the system is a doctor makes money off of you being sick. If you are healthy, they're not making any money. Get that through to your head. So they're always going to be like ordering tests that you don't need, right? Because that's their way of profiting off of your problems. If you really care about your health, you gotta do what you gotta do to whatever little baby steps you can do, because like I said, we all have different situations. I don't know how many jobs you're working. I don't know how many kids you're juggling. But the best approach is to just keep it simple, stupid. K.I.S.S. Keep it simple. Don't get married, don't have kids, don't have pets. That's the easiest way for you to pick up and go, right? If you have nobody else to be responsible for, except for yourself. That's the only way. I mean, even me, I have the burden of having adopted too many haunted spirit dolls, right? Her face is dirty. I have too many haunted spirit dolls, and they're in storage. Most of them. I mean, you've only seen me with the same few fucking dolls, except I got a new one. I mean, they can choose a different vessel, so I was like, this one looks close enough to the one I already have, the Ken doll. Okay, so get your shit squared away. Have a fucking plan. Have a backup plan. And you stick to the Marine phrase: one shot, one kill. You have no room for error. Get your health squared away. Obviously, look at me. I mean, I can only do so many fucking things. I can only be perfect in so many ways, So, I would recommend following, like, let's just say, for example, if you want to come to Cambodia, or I don't know what country you want to go to. If I was to give advice on any country, I would say stay away from Thailand. It's just too touristy. They're very wishy-washy. Like they'll say one thing, then they change their rules. Just check out all the videos about, Thailand changed their rules again. You don't have time to fuck around like that, okay? I mean, I would say Vietnam is a great place, but of course, unless if you're Russian, I mean, I'm pretty sure Russians have to have some sort of like agreement where, because there's a lot of Russians who just like live there. So unless if you're Russian or come from another socialist country, then it's very difficult or challenging to move to Vietnam. And if you're okay with, living out of a bag and having very few things, then by all means do the 3-month back and forth thing. But that's just, in my opinion, not sustainable. I mean, even especially with fuel costs, you've got only certain points of entry. Everything is so strict. And then especially with Vietnam, they have a new like health check thing, majigger, you gotta do. So I learned about this only recently. I mean, I didn't have to do it when I went, but it's a new thing. Health insurance, I can't even talk about that. So you really need to do your own research. Don't just rely on me. Don't just rely on one source of information. The guy that I liked his videos was Matt McKenzie. He was my inspiration for coming to Cambodia. I think he's Scottish. So, but that motherfucker is not even uploading videos anymore. So, not very reassuring. Like, this motherfucker just disappeared. He ended up leaving Cambodia, and then he went back to Scotland, and then his wife and daughter got deported. Not very reassuring. So yeah, have a plan, have a backup plan, get your health together. The thing is, it's a very different lifestyle. So like, let's just say you're used to, let's just say hypothetically, you're in a first world country that has established good infrastructure, good healthcare, and all that shit. And you have every right to be nervous about coming overseas. Now, if you have respiratory issues, anything wrong with your lungs, anything with your heart or whatever, I would advise against going to the big metropolitan areas where there's a lot of air pollution. Or, if you don't feel confident about your health, then do what you have to do to unfuck yourself, because there are trade-offs. Once you leave all that madness, like let's just say, because I was born in New York City, and there's a certain like level of intensity, a certain level of stress when you're living in a city environment, right? So everything is like go, 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 go. Everything is so quick. People are bumping into you. Everybody's rushing around everywhere. You don't have that shit here. I mean, at least not where I'm at. Everything, I think you guys see how slow everything is. Everybody's sleeping. I'm pretty sure you guys must have seen people sleeping, right? And when I'm walking around, I'm like passing by a tuk-tuk, you see motherfuckers are sleeping. They got their fucking, feet up and shit. Even in Vietnam, I see people like that. Like with their feet just hanging out of the window when they're sitting in the driver's seat. Everything here is just different, okay? I really need to do a better job at being prepared for these things. When I was in Bali, a long ass time ago. I got a tiny little boo-boo on my finger or something. I don't even know what the fuck I was doing. I don't know how it happened, but it was a long ass time ago. And I had to go to the doctor. I know I've talked about this before, but I have like thousands of videos, so I'm only just talking about it again because people want to hear about healthcare or health, my experience with health situations. Well, walking to the doctor's office, I had to walk through a whole bunch of trash. It was just like, you know, because if you're coming from a first world country, you're just used to everything being white and sterile. You know? What a hospital in our minds should be like. But it was just like walking through like garbage to get to the doctor's office. And once I was in the doctor's office, it was just like an infinite number of flies. I just couldn't even count, like, there were so many of them. I was just, like, amazed, and it was just, like, jaw-dropping, like, I could not believe that people have doctor's offices like that. So that was Bali, okay? I mean, there weren't very many instances where I needed care, okay? While I was overseas. I'm just trying to think, because, you know, you have to remember, even though I did spend a lot of time overseas, I was also a, you know, hard-charging Marine at the time. So Marines, we have things in place, right? I honestly, because I was like motard, I was very motivated. One of those people who really hate admitting weakness, but it was really like when I had the foot pain that really started the downward spiral. But prior to that, I never really had any need to go to medical, right? But I still don't really, I mean, I know what the fuck I need to do. At least I'm drinking cold pressed juice. This one's got avocado. One of my favorite ones. I wouldn't even like trust the expat insurance, healthcare insurance. You really need to do your research. And like I said, have your plan in place, have a backup plan. Like, let's just say that you're very concerned about health. So first of all, you know, do the things that you have control over. Do the things that you can. So what can you do? You can start meditating. You can write positive affirmations. You could write gratitude. Work on your gratitude. You know, we all need to do these things. We all could, you know, touch a tree, hug a tree, spend like 15, half an hour. Spend like an hour with a tree. Trees have healing energy. Or, you know, hiking in the forest, right? Getting that fresh air. Okay, so I'm just giving you guys ideas like how to go about it, right? Because you guys know that before I came out here to Cambodia, I tried checking out Lisbon. I don't recommend going to Lisbon. They don't want you there. I'm just being real. They don't like you. They don't want you there. They're racist, okay? So don't go to Lisbon unless if you're actually Portuguese or Brazilian, because they're not going to want you there. Because they are anti-foreigners. They don't want foreigners in their country. So don't go to Lisbon. The theft, petty crime is very out of hand, in my opinion. Do you really want to be in a place where you can easily lose your passport and all your valuables? That's just unnecessary stress, okay? And then, so after I went to Lisbon, then I went to Athens. I don't recommend Athens either. I mean, I love Athena and the Greek gods, and I love, Greek mythology, but Athens is expensive as well. Another thing about Lisbon or Portugal is the mold. You're also going to have mold like pretty much everywhere that's, raining all the time. And it rains like all the fucking time in Lisbon. So I wouldn't recommend going there. What I would do if I was desperate to get the fuck out, right? I would probably if I was absolutely clueless and I didn't know what the fuck to do, I would probably just go to Albania. And not necessarily Tirana, because Tirana, unless if you want to be in a city, anytime you're in a city, it's going to be more expensive. So Tirana is more expensive, but once you go out, you gotta take a fucking hour or 2 hour ride to go to a smaller town. But once you're in a smaller town, then it's going to be cheaper. But I would say that they, for the most part, they have their shit together. It's just like fucking chaos. The roads. Like, there's just certain things that, like, if you like organization and structure, then go to a place like Germany or Sweden. Right? They like to be organized. They like their structure. They like everything neat and labeled. They like to plan their life out a year in advance, okay? If you're one of those types of people, then go to a first world expensive place like that. If you're okay with chaos, then go somewhere else. If you want affordable, it's probably affordable means, something else is going to give, right? So affordability or cleanliness. If it's affordable, then it's probably not going to be very clean, right? But I did say the other day that I saw in the news headlines that Cambodia is working with the Europeans to invest in their technology to turn waste into electricity. So that's a very humongous plus. I mean, obviously it's going to take who knows how long to develop this technology, but it's in the works. So that's a very positive thing. Because I really hate the plastic waste, right? Because everything is covered in fucking plastic, you know what I mean? Now, implementation, that's another thing. I mean, you can't force people to fucking recycle, you know what I mean? But if they know that their electricity bill is gonna go down, then maybe that'll motivate them to, make better choices to not litter, right? I just saw a fucking kid take his top off the bottle and he just threw it on the ground, something so simple as that. Is it so hard for you to put that fucking thing in the trash? It's just like the mentality and the attitude, you know what I mean? You can't change people. Everybody's got free will. So anyways, in terms of my own situation, if you don't know anything about me, I'm a veteran. So I made sure that I was tending to my health. So that was like one of the things that I don't like about the VA, right? Because when you're a veteran, once you're enrolled into the system, it's like you gotta keep going every 6 months. If you don't go every 6 months, then your name is just gonna be like washed out of the system. And then you're gonna have to do the whole process all over again. You're gonna have to register or enroll all over again and start all over. So that's what I'm saying is I don't like that, because then you're like a slave to the VA healthcare system, if that makes any sense. I told you guys I'm like a rebel with everything. So, and there's that saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Well, I know what the fuck I need to do, right? Because I got visceral fat. That's like the worst kind of fat. That means like my insides have fat. You know, that means I could probably get a fucking heart attack. I know what the fuck I need to do. It's just so hard to do it. Because right here, like, I don't have an actual kitchen, right? I gotta go outside. My kitchen is outside. Or the sink. I'll just say the sink is outside. And then, of course, the bathroom. I don't like this house. But, I haven't had to go to anything for health yet. But I know what I need to do. I know I should meditate. I know I should work out. But, you know, it's just hard enough getting from day to day. Because you guys know also my other thing that's occupying space in the back of my mind is what to do about my dad. So these are my own personal life circumstances, right? But, you know, all you have to do is do what feels right for you. I mean, it's your life, and you gotta be a fucking adult and own up to whatever decisions you make. Don't be like, oh, well, Juliet said blah, blah, blah. No, that's why I said my fucking disclaimer. I'm a fucking entertainer, okay? Everybody else and their mama is charging you for some sort of relocation service. I'm not one of those fucking people. You can go watch their fucking videos. I'm simply an entertainer. I just like to help people out, you know? And I just like to talk shit. But the thing is, once you come out here, or I'm only speaking from my own experience, right? Pick a place that has, you know, good air quality. That's going to matter. Because I didn't really think about air quality until I went to a place like Hanoi. It's, in my opinion, it's not safe because you can't even cross the street. Do you really want to live in a place where you can't even cross the fucking street? Where you feel like you need a high visibility fucking, you know, neon yellow, neon orange, neon pink fucking thing majigger? Where you need a high vis thing to cross the street so people don't run you over? I mean, I've never lived in a place where the smog blocked the sun. Like, I've never been in a place where I couldn't see the sun because the smog was so bad. So, have your plan in place. Have your backup plan in place. And if I could do things over again, because, you know, you just don't know. You just don't know until you're there. And my situation, I'm currently looking for places in the United States, but I told you I want to help my dad. So most likely I'll be doing the back and forth thing. So if you have the luxury, or if you have the privilege of extended family, people that you can, you know, fall back on, then, you know, make sure that you don't burn any fucking bridges. Me, on the other hand, you know, I don't have that luxury. I have my dad. Yeah, I could stay in that roach-infested fucking place. But do I want to? No, I'm not going. Of course, my dad wants me to, he asked me if I was willing to stay over there because he's like, oh, the landlord has a free room. And I'm like, Dad, can you please just get that through to your head? I'm not going to live with roaches. I'm done with that. Why? Why would I want to live with roaches when I can have all this space to myself? So my quality of life has definitely drastically improved because the cost of living is much more affordable for me here. But like I said, healthcare wise, I definitely feel iffy about that. Thankfully, I don't need anything right now. Like I made sure to stay on top of whatever appointments. I went to get acupuncture and stuff done. I went to get like massages and stuff. I told you I was getting treatments under the VA healthcare system. And as a veteran, you go to the hospital for free, right? So like I had that stuff with my heart I was telling you guys. And I had to deal with that. But aside from that, that was like the only time I went to the emergency room. And it was only because it was like a conflict with my job. So anyways, I got that shit taken care of. It was kind of a mess because I still got a fucking bill, even though they said I wasn't supposed to get a bill. So, but finally I took care of that shit. And the bill was like $1,000 or whatever. So I'm like, okay, thank God I got that shit taken care of. And I don't want to fucking pay for that shit. They said I wasn't supposed to pay. And I still got a bill, right? So it's just like these things, just like mentally knowing that shit, it's just like that alone raises your stress levels, right? But what I'm trying to say is when you come out here, like I'm in Siem Reap, Cambodia. It's chill here. Probably too chill, probably too slow. You're probably gonna be bored out of your fucking mind like me. You're probably gonna start a YouTube channel. I don't fucking know. I wouldn't start YouTube. I would just go to Rumble. So yeah. Get your shit squared away. And if you're too much of a scaredy cat, don't do it. It's just that simple. I mean, if you want to live out of your car for the rest of your life, if you want to live in an RV for the rest of your life, if you want to live in a tiny home, I honestly wouldn't recommend living in a fucking tiny home. There's so many people who've done the van life and tiny home nonsense. It's just, I wouldn't recommend it. Especially if you're a solo female traveler. I mean, you get your period. That's just like gross. You need a fucking shower. You need a fucking bathroom, okay? And now I've got basically like 3 fucking bathrooms, but pretty much all of them, I hate all of them. Because I have like a dog's nose and like the drains stink. And this problem with the drains smelling, I had this issue in so many places. Poland, I didn't like the smell. Albania, it was so bad. So it's just me with my dog's nose. Like I can smell everything. If you're wearing perfume or cologne, I'm gonna smell it. So 1 spritz is enough. 1 small spritz is enough. It should be subtle. I shouldn't smell you, as you're walking down the block. That's just excessive. Pheromones are the best. And pheromones are free. But anyway, I must have like allergies to makeup. I mean, this stuff is only toxic. And everything is cheaply made in China, okay? I don't trust Chinese people. I'm Chinese American. And Cambodia is safe as long as you're not, stuck in a scam compound. But I have to say, it's not just Cambodia, okay? Yes, we have a reputation for being, a hot spot for scam centers, but I just want you guys to know that the scam centers are all across Southeast Asia, like Laos, Sri Lanka, Thailand. They're everywhere. You just gotta be, smart and do your due diligence and research. If it sounds too good to be true, don't fall for it. Because there's a lot of job ads that look very legitimate, like advertised on fucking Facebook or Instagram. And they say everything is all included, free lodging, free meals, free plane ticket. You get there, they take your passport, you're never gonna get it back. So never surrender your passport. Don't be an idiot. Just do your fucking research. That's the only thing I can suggest. And because even when you do your research and you read the reviews, I told you, I've shared all my experiences. A place could have raving 5-star reviews, and maybe it's because, they're offering people discounts. It's like, hey, leave us a 5-star review and you'll get a 20% discount on your next visit or whatever, You just, even if you've accounted for everything, shit will still go wrong, okay? So you gotta learn how to be flexible. If you can't be flexible, then you're gonna be miserable. Cold pressed juice. Back in America, a cold pressed juice, I would say, probably costs at least $7 or $9, $10. I don't fucking know. Here it's, I don't even know. I don't know how much I paid. Well, this is not the receipt. Shit, I think I left my receipt in the other room. Life here is affordable, okay? I mean, I just showed you guys I had a whole bunch of bananas, and I dumped that shit outside, like close to my garbage, and it disappeared. So somebody definitely took that whole fucking thing. I mean, I got so many fucking banana trees. I mean, let's be real here. If I was really very, adventurous, I could probably just catch a fucking lizard and eat it. And there's plenty of snakes, People be fucking eating insects and shit. I just showed you the fucking cricket or whatever. Yeah, cricket cookies that I have. I mean, when you're in Asia, that's what people eat. That's what the poor people used to eat. I mean, it's considered a delicacy, but I mean, I'm not that adventurous. I'm not that daring. I've tried like a lollipop with a fucking cricket or grasshopper before. I'm not willing to eat something that's supposed to be, poisonous. You're not gonna see me eating scorpion or tarantula. No, I'm cool. I'm good. What is this, X Factor? Are you gonna pay me $1 bajillion to eat it? What for? I'm an entertainer. I'm not gonna go through something that uncomfortable just for entertainment value. I have standards. I mean, I'm not a yacht girl. I'm not a yacht boy. I'm not gonna sell my soul for entertainment. I'm just here to kill time. And yes, there are plenty of other influencers and content creators. Follow their stuff to learn about, life out in whatever country. So pick a country, pick a backup country. So if it doesn't work out here, then you're gonna go there. Because, like I said, space, energy, time, money. Mistakes cost money. So have a plan, have a backup plan, right? Because, a lot of places, let's just say Albania, Vietnam, the currency is basically useless once you leave the country. So, make sure that you exchange all your stuff and Don't get scammed. Learn about all the scams, you know. There's just so many unknowns, you know. There's just too many moving parts. But would you be, you know, regretting? Would you be living with regret if you didn't try? Right? Even if you're not ready for the move, then just put all your shit in fucking storage, right? And just do a little bit of traveling. Just get out of your current bubble or situation, because it helps, even if emotionally, to step outside of, you know, your current circumstances and to see things from a different perspective, right? But if you're too pussy to do it, then just stay your happy ass at home. You know, like, it's your life. What do I care? Me, I just, like, I told you, I basically kind of hate my family. Like, they hate me. It's mutual. It's mutual hate. I mean, you know, how do you expect to tell somebody to shut up? You know, you call them, you verbally abusive towards them. Do you really expect that person to just, like, you know, still be loving and kind towards you when you're just constantly, you know, putting them down and making them feel worthless? Because that's what I'm getting from my mom's side of the family. You know, my channels are called Talking Shit. Well, all they do is talk shit to my face, you know? So it's like, if you want to fucking go there, don't even start with me, because, you know, my shit lasts forever. I'm making history with my shit talking, so I just don't need to hear, I don't need to put up with them talking shit to my face, you know what I mean? I'd rather just give my time and energy to my cameras. Like, it's a waste of time for me to bother with them. It's just not a good investment of my time. So anyways, that's my own personal shit. But yeah, I already explained to you guys my own situation with my dad. So yeah, I don't know what to do. But there are also, like, relocation programs. And of course, I'm not selling that shit to you either. There are plenty of programs or places that will pay you. Yeah, they're gonna pay you to fucking relocate there. You gotta be a full-time remote worker, right? So you gotta have that shit lined up. And of course, these places are not gonna be, you know, they're not gonna be, like, desirable. You know what I mean? There's a reason why they're paying you to fucking relocate there. It's probably because they're in Tornado Alley. They're probably in bumfuck nowhere, isolated, remote locations where the population is, like, under 60,000 people, right? So what trade-offs are you willing to live with? It's probably going to be freezing half the year. So, you know, it is what it is. Do what feels right for you. That's the only thing I can say.